Hello and welcome to another episode of Incantation, a horror movie review podcast where we discuss both classic and current horror movies as well as everything in between. We're four friends from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia with a shared love for everything horror. I'm Joe, and with me today is Caleb.
Hello.
Lynn.
Hi.
And Josh.
Hey, it's good to be back.
Yes, this is actually our first episode of the second season.
First episode of 2021, right?
Yes, our first episode of 2021. We have lost a lot of time. I mean, we skipped a lot of weeks of not doing podcasts, and it's my fault. I haven't been editing most of the podcasts. Those who's hearing this might just like skip a week or two, and then you get the next season already. So, yep. So we're going to kick off this season with sci-fi horror, which Caleb chose the theme, and the first episode Caleb also chose. So Caleb is going to introduce this episode for us and let us know your non-spoiler thoughts, Caleb.
Right. So the film that we are talking about today is Scanners. It's a 1981 Canadian sci-fi horror film written and directed by David Cronenberg. So this is a movie about people that has telekinetic powers in the world, right? And they're called scanners. And there's this company called ConSec. They want to basically weaponize these kind of people. So there's this there's a renegade scanner that wants to go against them. Yeah, that's basically the plot, right?
I guess.
I mean, that's as good as a summary as you're gonna get for this film, honestly.
Yeah. So my thoughts on this is, it's a pretty weird movie considering my expectations for David Cronenberg. The only movie I saw by him is The Fly. So this one is very different to me. The story is okay, it's decent, it's easy to follow, it's not too complicated. The acting is...
Are you sure the story is not too complicated?
Well, for me, it's not too complicated. I don't know if I'm missing out a lot of stuff, but yeah, I guess I took it at face value. It's pretty straightforward for me, I guess.
There isn't any kind... I don't think there's any kind of hidden meaning behind...
I think there is, but I just didn't pick it up.
Unless it's talking about like homelessness and hobos.
Talking about drugs or something.
They actually have powers. I mean, they basically just...
Maybe like illegal drug testing or something? I don't know.
Something about the pharmaceutical companies
right.
in US. It was... So, you're...
Right. So,
sorry for derailing you.
Right. Yeah. I like I say, it's my expectation was not what I saw. Right. I was expecting something like The Fly, the only film that I saw from David Cronenberg.
Mm-hmm.
It's very different from The Fly.
It's very different.
Yeah, so it didn't meet my expectations, I guess.
Okay.
But is that like good or bad?
I mean, it's different.
Are your expectations?
I was expecting something, but I got something else.
So expectations subverted.
No.
I guess. Yeah.
But like, what was that? What did that help the overall experience? That did you find that was like you were like, oh, I'm pleasantly surprised, or man, what is this garbage?
I wouldn't say what is this garbage, but more like, why is it so different? It's more slow pace versus comparing to The Fly.
Right.
So yeah, I wouldn't say it's bad. It's decent, I guess.
Right. Lynn?
I don't really watch sci-fi. I think I mentioned during our introductory episode, it's not exactly my favorite genre. But I find this rather entertaining.
Well, it's good. I hope it's going to be after the 4 episodes that we are doing.
Yeah, but yeah, I find this rather entertaining. This movie being a 1981 movie, I think it was quite weird. Like Caleb, I think it's quite straightforward. I don't think there's any implicit meaning to this movie, or maybe I just didn't catch them like how Josh would.
Josh catch.
Yeah, but I think overall it was entertaining in the sense that the way that they're speaking, I don't know, the dialogues seem a bit I don't know, interesting. I guess to not go into a very deep spoiler talk, it's overall quite entertaining. I don't think I would recommend it though to people who want to explore sci-fi. I think due to the whole movie being a bit odd, like I don't know whether
Did you feel that
makes sense.
it's dated? Did you feel it's dated? Like, oh, it really feels 1980s.
It does. The setting and everything that they do, the computer, I mean the technology that they use.
Yeah, the computers are
Obviously.
super.
I mean,
Quite
even
interesting to see.
like even the acting is very dated, right? Like it's it's like overly exaggerated. I mean, it's not on like a level of possession, but
Like watered down
If
possession.
possession is 10, then this is maybe like a 6 or 7.
right.
This is
Level of
the
weirdness,
only
degree of
time I
weirdness.
will ever hear you say if possession is a 10.
No. But when I say 10, doesn't mean it's 10. The degree is 10 of 10 out of 10 goodness. You know, it's the
It's
weirdness.
a weird
Yeah.
scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, Josh.
I've actually seen I think 2 Cronenberg movies, the Fly, and then the other one is Existence. I think you've seen it too, Caleb. It's about like they're creating like this video game. It's in a virtual environment. They plug the wires straight into their umbilical, like the belly buttons, and then yeah,
Sounds like something from Rick and Morty.
yeah. So, I mean, I'm myself. I'm really interested to go and explore Cronenberg's movies because it's like, because Rick and Morty, yeah. So like, this is my 3rd move, Cronenberg, and it's totally weird. I think the keyword today is gonna be weird, right? it's gonna get repeated like 100 times or something. But this movie is just, I don't know. Like the plot is pretty straightforward, like what Caleb said. I mean, I don't think there's any hidden meaning or whatever, but it's convoluted. Definitely, it's very convoluted. And then, like I said, the acting is a bit dated. I don't know how, like, if this movie was made today, like, I don't think it's gonna do well.
no, but you can see elements like from the Matrix, right? Like some of it, like it has some of that kind of elements, you know?
Right. So like there's the blurring of lines, and then between what you can and cannot do. In what world you can do that in. So I guess you can say that, but
I would never connect it to Matrix.
This is weird. It's just weird. The whole time is just what is going on? Just like, okay, I get what the movie, where is it going, and I know what's happening on screen, but it's just weird.
Yeah. And no, I'm just gonna be, the 3 of you have said it's weird, and I think for me it's not weird enough.
Not weird enough.
It just didn't go all the way.
Yeah, because it's like it feels like it starts off pretty interesting, like the whole I don't think it's part of a spoiler to talk about the starting scene, the shopping mall scene. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a pretty cool way to establish what scanners can do. But then it feels like for maybe the next 30 to 45 minutes that it's just a completely different kind of movie where it becomes a bit more mundane. There are some parts, of course, that come in, like a trip to a gallery and a meeting with the artist and things like that. But in between, there is this like very what do you call it, generic kind of like action scenes. I think there's a chase scene, and so when I'm watching it, I'm feeling like, look, it looks like Cronenberg wants to Cronenberg, but at the same time he also wants to appeal to like a mass audience, right? So it feels like he's trying to straddle those two lines, and I don't think he pulled it off. I honestly don't. I feel the big weakness of this story, the film, I think there's two. One of them is that the plot feels like it's made up as it goes along. It's like, okay, let's get a Cameron Vale to this point, and then this person is going to tell him something, right? And we'll make it up once we get there. Then he'll be like, okay, you go do this, and then it's like a fetch quest, a series of fetch quests, which they made up as it went along. And I think the second bit is the acting, right? So Stephen Lack as Cameron Vale, my goodness. I was like, what? I don't know what you were going for, but whatever it was, it's like also like Caleb. I've only ever seen the other Cronenberg film I've seen is The Fly, right? And I think like Jeff Goldblum embodies the kind of weirdness that you want to, when you think about Cronenberg, right? You think, okay, that kind of weird kind of sensibilities, like Jeff Goldblum, sorry, Goldberg. It's late, guys. It's past midnight already. Jeff Goldblum embodies that really perfectly. Stephen Lack, lacks lah. His performance really lacked for me. So, I know that we've been joking and you guys, Josh is going to give it a 10 out of 10. It's a 1980s movie. Josh loves all these weird 1980s films. But honestly, yeah, I felt like it didn't really do it for me. And mostly because I felt Cronenberg like couldn't commit to, where do you want to go? You want to go weird or you want to go mainstream? Right? And he couldn't bridge those two different intentions. So if people are saying, no, should I watch this? Sure, it's not a bad film. I don't think any of us here will call it a bad film, right?
You're right.
Yeah, but if you want to watch horror from the 1980s, like there are so many others. And you want to talk about sci-fi horror from the 1980s, like Joe, your favorite, the Thing, for example.
The Thing.
Yeah. Right? Go watch that instead. Life is short.
After watching The Thing 10 times, what else are you gonna watch? Scanners, right?
Watch everything.
Yeah. So there are a couple of things. I think we get to spoilers that I can talk about that I liked about the film. I think some of the special effects it holds up really, really well. Mainly because I think they use practical effects.
Yeah.
Although the final bit did feel a bit goofy, honestly. It reminded me of like the Evil Dead or something. I'm talking about like that kind of the kind of vibes. The ending where I'm sure when Evil Dead 2 came out, like it was like the bomb, and you watch it now, you're like, you know what?
The Sam Raimi eye popping bit.
Oh yeah, right. So but if you want to check it out, you've heard a lot about Cronenberg. I don't think it's a bad film. You could. It's not a long film as well, so it's okay. But if you want to start from somewhere with him, I would really start with The Fly.
Right.
Yeah.
The Fly. Yeah, that's the better Cronenberg. Or would you call it the pinnacle? Haven't seen any of others.
Yeah. I'm saying that even like for body horror, right? You're talking about, it's not just Cronenberg, like any body horror film.
Yeah.
The Fly is really up there, right?
Yeah.
So,
that's true.
Yeah.
I don't think Lynn has watched The Fly, right? Yeah.
Nope.
Would you
As
be
usual,
interested?
the one who hasn't watched anything.
Yeah,
but
I
after
would
watching-
recommend you watch it.
After watching this one, would you feel like, I'm interested to actually see another Cronenberg film?
Oh no.
Maybe not.
Bad introduction to Cronenberg.
Think of the ending for the Scanners, but times 10. throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, it's just it starts at 1 and then just 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way up to 10 throughout the whole movie. Yeah.
I remember feeling disgusted watching the film.
Yeah. I mean, we watched it
It's so
together.
good. It's so good. Seriously, it's so good.
And the other person who was watching with us was screaming obscenities.
Cursing. I thought that was Josh.
Josh too, and then the other person, which I will not name on air. Right, so there you have it. This is our non-spoiler section of Scanners. So do stay tuned. We'll be right back with the spoiler talks.
I would like to scan all of you in this room, one at a time. I must remind you that the scanning experience is usually a painful one.
The mind force. Scanners. Their thoughts can kill.
All right, welcome back. We are talking about Scanners, a sci-fi horror movie from the 1980s by David Cronenberg. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the plot, right? The plot is pretty convoluted. I mean, it's like
It's
there's
fetch
this-
quest, Joe. It's fetch quest after like go here, speak to this guy. This guy will tell you, hey, go there. To that guy.
Right. So you can almost picture like Cronenberg is just waiting for him, like he's just waiting to do his signature body horror
End
stuff.
scene.
But he's just like, where can I fit all this in? And then there's just one scene to the next scene, and then he doesn't get his chance to.
But was it like do you think that it was a budget constraint? Because he starts off with a bang, right? So there's that scene, the one where it's ConSec, and then what's his name? Revok comes in,
Right.
and then he blows the guy's head out. It's so
What?
good.
Like my first question is, what event was that? Was that like a expo, like a exhibition event where ConSec is like showing off their new technologies, and this is where they choose to come out and say, "Oh, we got these people."
They were showing off that one scanner guy
Right.
that got his head blown off.
Right. And then
And
after
then
that,
one scanner guy got caught.
right.
Got assassinated.
So like then after that they had like a board meeting or whatever. They said, "Oh, yesterday we chose to reveal to the world that we actually have this scanners thing."
Mhm.
So that's weird. Why did they do like a security expo and then like
I honestly don't think that we need to overthink that plot because I'm not sure. Like I'm not sure that Cronenberg spent a lot of time thinking about that plot because that plot has a lot of plot points, but the way it all holds together, right? I was like, oh, and I don't know whether is it because of like you're used to modern films, right? Where
Right.
okay. Having said that, we have just watched Godzilla vs. Kong, for example, where again the plot is see the difference is this: Godzilla vs. Kong, there's almost no plot. This film has tons of plot, but I'm like, you could have trimmed a little bit. Like I don't think a lot of it needed to be in the film.
Right.
Yeah, I don't
There's
know. Like,
There was this weird
Yeah.
artist guy who's like seems like he's part of a cult, but he's not. And then
like they explicitly say that all the scanners belong to Revok except this one guy, and then suddenly there are all these other people who are
like in the house, right? They're in the house, and then they're sort of like chanting together, trying to like achieve some kind of a synchronicity and
Yeah.
unity thing.
I don't know what's that about.
What was that
It
about?
doesn't-
They just all died in the end.
Not
Right.
all of them.
I mean, yeah, the two characters escape, and then they all died. The rest of them died by shotguns. And then the other thing is,
that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, in a film like this, it's like Cronenberg. I mean, if you're listening to this and you haven't watched it yet and you're wondering like what's going on, I don't know why you're listening to the spoiler section. But if you are, it's like, imagine like Cronenberg is trying to do a cross between X-Men and The Matrix, right? Except that it's 1981. I think that's really the best way to put it, because you have these people with these powers and then they can do all these things, and then there's a technological aspect to it as well. But you imagine a film that is X-Men, but the way that the X-Men die are like they are being shot to death by guns. It's like, why aren't you doing more with the scanner's power? That you have it at the start, you have it at the end, but really like in the middle,
right?
It just feels like, it's just generic. People getting shot up, people getting blown up. Although I do have to say, I do enjoy the explosions. The explosions were really quite fun.
That one car that just hit a fire hydrant and exploded.
Yeah.
He just exploded.
Or like the way that the computer lab exploded and the guy flew back from the computer and the computer exploded. It's like, wow.
Did you notice that all the guns in the show is just shotguns?
Everyone has shotguns.
They have no other guns.
I didn't.
Like, the good guys had shotguns, the bad guys had shotguns.
The police have shotguns.
The police have
People
shotguns.
riding helicopters have shotguns.
Right, they don't have any other type of guns. It's so funny.
It's the same kind of shotgun too.
It's the same
It's the
type.
brown handle one.
The one with the pump action.
Right.
Yeah. Like they maybe got it on sale. Like maybe like there was like props department,
No one
right?
thought
Just
about
bought it all.
having, like, a variety of guns or whatever. Like the police, like they should be using revolvers or whatnot in like 1980s, but they all use shotguns.
But Lin, how do you find the plot, Lin? Like, did you find it like? I mean, you said that it was okay, you could follow it, right? But did you think that it was too much of it?
Yeah, a lot of unnecessary stuff. Like that scene. I mean, the Benjamin Pierce part.
Yeah.
That there's absolutely no value added into the drama at all.
No, there is because it's weird. I like it. I was like, oh yeah, this is the weird part. This is the weird bit coming in, and then you have people just coming in. They're just shooting all of them up. And I'm like, oh,
Wait, you're talking about the artist, right?
yeah, Benjamin
Yeah.
Pierce. Yeah.
He gave the name of the email scan.
Okay, yeah, that's his only value, lah. I guess. Yes, no other value.
And then he got
I
shot.
felt like a lot of things could have been consolidated. Because I think a few of us watched this movie like twice in the span of 1 week, because we were supposed to record this last week, right? But we couldn't. And even in that span of 1 week, we can't even remember what happened. So because there's too much happening, that what you remember are just the head explosion scene and then the last scene, right?
Yeah.
Because those are the memorable ones. You don't even bother what's in between because there's just too much. And yeah. Another thing, I felt like it's not really a horror movie because of the whole plots that were happening. Just hunting for this Daryl guy. Feels like a not thriller. What do you call it?
Yeah, it's a thriller, right? It's a technological thriller, like kind of.
Yeah,
thing,
I felt
right?
like it.
Yeah, the whole
Yeah.
time I was waiting for something horror to happen.
Right. They even show us the beginning that made me expect more.
Right.
But then they just
Right.
No.
How do you start with a head explosion and then nothing after that?
Because that's how you use your budget. You put all of it into like that one scene, and then like, okay, guys, we gotta hold them for another
So
17
far
minutes,
away.
and then we're gonna have them have a bit more budget to do the last 5 minutes, and then that's it. And,
not even in the middle they have.
Right, there's nothing in the
Exploding.
middle.
In the
and
middle
they put all the budget to explosions as well, Caleb.
Right.
they put it in the beginning
Like-
and the end. It's so weird to me.
Right. So
And then the assassins that the guy sent,
he didn't explode them.
none of them are scanners for
Yeah.
some reason. They all use shotguns.
Right.
Yeah.
None of
Where
them
is this
fight-
army? Where is
Hit
Revok's
with
army?
scan.
Right?
Right.
They're
But-
probably
but I think-
high on ephemeral.
I think what he might have felt was like, oh, maybe like it's not fun to see two people just thinking really hard at each other, standing there and thinking. And so like, okay, I need to introduce shotguns into this. But I was like, you know what? Maybe you should have just saved the budget for the explosions and then can give us one or two more exploding heads. And I think like if you look into the how they did the explosions for the exploding head, right? It's so funny because like they use leftover burgers. But it's so cool. I thought it was so cool. The exploding head. I was like, yes, I'm in. And then
right, it's so cool. And then after that, they go with a chase scene that doesn't really go anywhere.
So many opportunities to show off the scanners.
Yeah.
In the where they were meeting the artist guy where he was getting shot.
Can I say one bit before you go on? Sorry, you know, like they show the guy's head getting blown off, right? But the scene where I don't know whether it's like is it like a police guy or is it like from I think it's ConSec. You know the ConSec guy shooting the other two people and then he shoots himself in the head.
Right.
Oh, that you don't want to show. You don't want to show this guy shooting himself in the head.
Too graphic.
But you're okay showing another guy getting his whole head blown up.
Shotgun to the face is no. I feel like the writers like wrote themselves into the corner. It's like everyone joined Revok's army, and then ConSec had none of the scanners themselves, and then they have to go and recruit this hobo. Right? And then
some overpowered hobo.
Some OP hobo.
He just learns how to do everything.
And that's the thing as well that for me didn't work because like Cameron Bale is like this homeless person.
Yeah.
And then suddenly he's James Bond. Like he takes a bath, and then suddenly he's like,
right. So there was this Morpheus moment where he had to like duel with this guy who can control his heartbeat. So
it's so fun.
So it's like, why didn't you just make him into like a mentor figure and then like he's a scanner too so that he can teach him stuff? And then it's just a guy who has control over his heart, right? Are you serious? Like, huh?
I can control.
I can control my heart, and then he almost dies.
He's like, stop, please.
I think they wanted to demonstrate like how powerful this Bale is, but yeah, there's the thing. So okay, he uses his powers there, and then every other time that he uses his powers, it's more like mind control and stuff. Which to me was a little bit boring. Like, give me more of the, you know. Okay, you don't want to explode. Maybe squeeze a little bit or something. like don't. Where is the body horror, Cronenberg? I was throughout the whole film. I'm like, where is the body horror, man?
Right. Yeah, there were lots of nosebleeds though.
A lot of staring and seizures.
A lot of head flinging.
He did that. He flinged like 5 people in the artist's place. They all just flew away.
Yeah, Lin, do you feel that they did enough with their powers, or did you find it for me, I found it a little bit boring after a while? Like, it's the same thing. You're just mind controlling people.
Yeah, I found that they were quite weak though. The powers weren't really displayed. Like, so easily killed. Like, if you can control minds, like, why don't you do it? Like, they're just killed by guns. So, like, yeah, quite basic.
Yeah, why is ConSec so scared of actually? Like, you know, you're scared that he's building this army of scanners.
Right.
But you could just, with you and your shotgun wielding, you know, gang,
Just go
go in and wipe them out. Like, what's going on?
Right.
But we don't even see any of the other scanners with Daryl Revok. None of them, right? These people are just normal guys.
These people are all the pharmaceutical fellas.
The only collection of scanners is the people in the house.
So like ConSec had like bad information because they were saying, oh, like this guy Revok has an underground movement of scanners.
Where did he plug that information from? Like, nowhere.
But there was
everyone just believed.
But there was a cult of
maybe it's
scanners.
Keller. Right? Maybe it's Keller. But it's not Keller because Dr. Roof is the one that was saying it. Dr. Roof is saying, they have found everybody. He has taken all the scanners.
Yeah, like he's got bad intel.
Mhm.
Right. So apart from the first head exploding scene, and then the last scene where they just melt. Is there any other scenes that you think is, I don't know, memorable?
Yeah.
I think the part where I don't know if it's legit, but like the part where Daryl Revok said that Dr. Ruth was their father and yada yada. I don't know whether it's legit or not. Do you guys like gather any info in between that
Oh, the ending.
that kind of supports that premise? Yeah. Like he's their father.
Yeah, that was just out of nowhere.
Right.
It's quite random, right?
He's your father now.
Yeah, like
Why?
what Josh
Like, why?
like what Josh said in the beginning about the writing, right? They just get from point A to point B, and then they have no idea about point C and D, so they just make it up as they go along. Right. So what do we do at this point? How about you're his father? It's like, okay.
And I'm your brother. Why don't?
I don't know.
They needed an explanation for why Bill and Revok are so overpowered compared to everybody else. And that was the explanation. Because your dad is Dr. Ruth, and then he gave them like a higher concentration of that drug.
But
Which
why-
I guess okay, sure, but
but the female scanner got outscanned by an unborn baby.
or maybe because the new drug that they're working on is like really strong.
Ephemeral 2.
Yeah.
Like unborn baby, it's made you nosebleed.
Like, who cares? Like, why do you care like what baby's game?
Can you just walk away?
No, because there was this one line in the film that they were saying like two scanners cannot be in the same room with each other.
Right.
Right. But then you see all these fellas sitting around doing the
In the
kumbaya.
trance. Like they're trying to like
And there was
achieve-
no problem there.
Like,
So
it's your
again, like the
peace.
writing is just the writing. They write down stuff that, because if two scanners cannot be in the same room with each other, then what is Bill and Kim doing? Like, you know, how come they are okay being next to each other?
Yeah, how is
Oh, because
Revok,
they can control their powers. Maybe he can control their powers.
how's Revok amassing army without
Right.
them being together?
There's no
That's
army.
Yeah, that's why you can't see them
Fake
all
news
in one
lah.
space.
That's the whole
Yeah, it's fake. There's no army.
bamboozle. It's
No,
just
there
him
is-
all along.
There is an army. They're just not together because they can't be in the same room.
They're all scattered around.
They're all
The
scattered.
scanners are scattered.
In the age where there's no cell phones.
Yeah.
Pigeons.
We're talking about the not having cell phones. Like Lynn, I think you were talking about the computers just now.
Right.
And I was
Yeah.
like, this is the best thing in the world. See, looking at the looking at how they're typing, and you're talking about plot points, right? This is that part where he's in through the phone line, and then the guy just goes, "Damn,
I can't do anything about
you
it.
don't want him to access this. Just cut the phone line. What are you doing?"
Just unplug it.
Right, he even says it. We're connected through the phone lines.
Yeah. And then and then Keller just goes, "Damn."
I guess. We lost.
We're thwarted.
Like, you know, I would really love to see like a modern film actually do that. Like when somebody hacks into your mainframe, right? And then people are like, "Oh, they've hacked into our mainframe," and then the other people are like, "Oh, damn," and then just stand around.
They just stare at the
Just stare around.
screen.
Yeah.
It's happening.
The scientist was like, there's like 3 scientists in there.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if the scientists are computer scientists is dressed in like coats. Right? They're like super chill about it. Someone's invading their information, like getting all the information. They're like, well, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Can you just shut down?
No one has infiltrated our computer systems with their brains before. So
Right, then the guy, I don't know what's his name, the ConSec guy, he somehow jumped to the conclusion of Vale's nervous system is connected to the computer's nervous system.
yeah.
Just that line alone, I'm like, What?
And he was wrong too.
What now?
He was wrong too. They tried to shut it down, and then nothing happened to Vale. It's like, okay,
But
just a nose-
everything blew up. Everything blew up. The
Right.
gas station blew up. The computer room blew up.
The telephone melted.
The telephone that Bill was listening to melted.
How did the telephone melt? Where did that power come from? It wasn't Vale. He didn't want to melt the telephone.
The computer.
The computer melted the telephone through the phone lines.
Computer juice, yo.
That makes no sense.
I mean, if we watch it
But,
in the 80s, then it would make sense if we're in the 80s.
If I was in the 80s, maybe I was like, oh my god.
Because we wouldn't know what if that's true or not.
Yeah. Like, it's the power of the internet. Did they ever use the word internet? I don't think
No.
they even did it, right? It was just a
No,
network.
they
But it
used
was like, oh,
numbers.
he's.
Yeah, telephone lines. They're like,
Yeah. Not even down.
I don't think dollar was a thing back in 1981.
Yeah. But I think like it was maybe like for us because we're so far removed from it. Is it 40 years? It is 40 years, right?
81, yeah, that's 40 years. Holy
Oh.
craps,
Oh
2021.
man.
It's a
91,
40-year-old show.
2001, 11, yeah, 2021 is 40 years old. So I guess we should cut it some slack. Maybe at the time people were like, oh wow, like this is
Mind blowing.
whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the technology stuff can be.
Literally mind blowing.
The technology stuff can be, we can go easy on it. It's, no big deal. But, yeah, the plot.
Yeah. But I mean, Caleb,
Too
like, did you have is there any scene from it? I mean, like, we have taken a huge dump on the plot for the last 15 minutes. But was there like anything like in between that you felt, oh, this is quite cool?
Quite cool? No. It was more like
Okay
what?
then. Next question. Let's move on.
Like I go, what? Why does that happen? Like, why does he suddenly have powers to control technology? from brains to heart to organs to technology.
They're all electrical impulses.
Yeah.
See, I connected it for
So
you.
fast. He just learned
A lot
it
of
so
it
fast.
was like, don't worry about it.
It's okay, but did you see the head explode though?
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing, right? I mean, I think the thing is this, like, when it comes to horror films, a lot of times like, we just take it on surface value. Like, oh, like this guy, like Jason or Freddy, whoever can't die. So, okay, sure, right? Don't worry about it. But I think the problem here was that because they match it up with the technological aspects of it, and I think that part of it is going to be a little bit, especially like I said, we are 40 years removed. It's sometimes a little bit hard to be like,
Right.
yeah, Yeah.
Was there any memorable scenes for you, Josh?
Oh, I like the Benjamin Pierce. I mean, I don't
Really?
I didn't like it. But because again, it was like, it's weird. This is the weird bit. Like all the like his sculptures and stuff like that. Right? I was like, yes, this is what I'm here for. I want to see. I was hoping that we would see like where he's getting all these like ideas for the sculptures and the things that he's doing.
Mhm.
But he was just like, it just helps me not to be able to hear everybody else. I just do this. Oh, okay, and then he gets shot to death.
In the legs first, like
He got shot. You can clearly see the shot above him, but then his leg got hit. And then the first thing he does is not to go into cover, is to run out more into the open.
Out into the open
to get shot even more.
I mean, he's an artist. What you gonna do?
What do you mean? It's not logical
This
for a
is-
normal
this
person
is
to
like-
run out.
This is like the scene in the Star Wars film we don't talk about, where those red guards deliberately put themselves in the line of the lightsabers,
Yeah.
like intentionally impale themselves. Yeah,
He was
I have
very
no idea.
determined to cross the
Yeah. He needs
to get to the other side.
Check his art.
They were all blown to pieces. None of them was aiming at him too.
I don't think there's any memorable scenes for me either, except for the beginning one when it explodes, and then the end. And the middle part is just it's a blur for me. Not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we talk about the acting then? I mean, Joe, you said that you see this guy, the Revok, and you keep thinking that it is
Jack
Jack
Nicholson.
He looks similar.
Yeah, I mean there were parts where I thought, is this Jack Nicholson or is it not Jack Nicholson? Then I kept, okay, no, this is the guy from Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
But he didn't
you
really appear a lot in the film. Right.
I think because trying to have to get that little scar on his forehead maybe make up too long, and they're like, you know what, we're just not gonna have you in a lot of this.
It's too much time makeup.
but you know how I knew he wasn't Jack Nicholson was in that scene where he was freaking out, right? And like, he was just like, he was going wild, and then when he was getting interviewed, and then he was like talking about when he has that eye here,
Right.
where he put that bandage and that eye thing. Yeah, and then and I was like, if this was Jack Nicholson, like he would have gone completely wild, right? He would have been like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, or like Joker from Batman.
Right.
Yeah.
And like again, like he just doesn't go far enough.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing about this film. The only thing that goes far enough are the explosions.
Body horror, which was like beginning and the end.
I mean, like what Josh said, like the artist scene. I was hoping for like a bloodbath, like
Right.
everybody exploded,
They just got thrown around.
just go, but they just got pushed around a bit and then they
Right.
died. Right. Okay.
Yeah, but what about how did you feel about the acting? Like Lynn, did you feel any of the actors did a particularly good job? Were you feeling like, I'm not sure about this one?
No, it felt like it was dubbed. I don't know. It didn't feel natural at all.
You dub acting.
It didn't feel natural at all. It was so awkward. Like I just couldn't relate.
Could it be like an 80s thing though?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Possession had that similar vibe as
Hey,
well.
don't compare it to
Possession goes all out. This one like
Sensitive.
Because Possession is very earnest, right? You can actually see the line between Possession. I can't believe I'm doing this because I love Possession. But you can see the line, the earnestness. I'm talking about the earnestness there from Possession and that film. What's that film called? The one where the one that James Franco did a remake of. You're killing me. What's it called?
The Room.
Yeah, right.
Right.
The Room is the ultimate in this kind of like earnest kind of like, I can't believe I'm drawing a line between Possession and The Room, but I've done it. It's there. It's out there now. So yeah, but whereas I feel like in this one, like they weren't earnest enough. It felt like a lot of the time it was just like right before the scene, they gave you the script, the fellas read it, and then okay, you good to go. Okay, right, let's just feel.
Right, just read that line.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean,
Did it work for you, Caleb? How did you feel the acting?
Yes, same with Lin. It just felt really awkward a lot of the times, and it's not a lot of acting happening either. It was just a lot of staring
A lot of action.
intensely at each other, and then like vibrating. Vibrating but never hit exploding.
yeah.
Why would you do us like that, Cronenberg? Tease us like that.
I guess the acting is like the rest of this movie, like the writing, is just not there. It just doesn't go far enough.
I think the one time they actually do go a bit wild is the ending, right? Do you guys want to talk about the ending?
Yeah, let's just talk about it.
Yeah. How did you all feel about it?
The ending is where Vale and Revok just duel, and then they both start to melt into one person.
Into one person. I thought one of them like took over the mind.
yeah, so like it's implied that Vale went into Revok. Right. And then that's his dominant personality. Like, Revok is just dead, but it's Vale that is in Revok's body. Right, so I don't know, but the whole time I was just staring at the effects. I'm like, holy crap, how did you do this?
That looks so cool. This is what we've been waiting for.
You're right. And then the movie's end. It's like, oh. That's it.
They're like,
That's why then have Scanners 2.
no.
The New Order, and Scanners 3, the takeover, and Scanner Cop, and Scanners the showdown.
Police scanners. No, wait, that's a different thing.
You have the whole Scannerverse.
There is a sequel.
Yeah.
I
You
thought
think I was
Josh
just making up
making
the
it up.
lore? Just making it up. Yeah.
Well, we gotta
Lin,
watch
what do
them
you think
now.
about the ending? Then did it work for you?
I loved it. Like it's
Whoa.
so it's so cool. Like he started scraping his own skin, and the
Oh.
veins started to blow up, then blood started oozing out. Like so cool. I mean, for a 1980s movie, it's actually not bad, right?
You just say it's so cool to body horror.
That one I actually can accept because it's cool that it's funny that it's cool. It's cool that it's funny. It's not.
But okay, but do you think that because it's so over the top, because it's so like
not
so
realistic.
lebe, right? That you feel
Yeah.
it's okay. I can watch this. It's not like realistic, like I'm cutting up myself or like something like that, right?
Yeah, I think it's because it's so overdone that it's okay for me.
You know it's fake, right?
Yeah,
So, but it's so fun to watch.
yeah.
And it holds up. I think it holds up because it's practical effects. So a lot of it is practical. And so when you look at it, it's just all makeup and whatever. It's none of it is CG, or very little of it is CG.
There's
Maybe
no
the veins. I think the veins might be CG. I don't know.
I don't think there's any CG.
How did they do
No?
the veins?
What
Yeah, the vein.
When the veins popping out.
I mean, don't they like run like
They pump air into it.
they pump air into like
Balloons or something.
not balloons. You know those lines, like those tubings? They put tubings on your skin and then they just make up
Yeah.
over it. Then they pump air into it so that the tubing comes out. Isn't that how it's done?
I don't know.
No, but he's talking about the blood spurting, right? I think what happens is just before they say action, somebody runs in, pokes a needle into it, and then just runs off, and then they film, and then you can see the blood.
That's why you see for
squirting
one
out.
frame the person is just frozen there.
Sprays it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all like that ending, and I think like going to the film and then watching the first 15 minutes, we thought the whole film was going to be that ending, and
Right.
it just wasn't.
I mean, the ending was if you just look at the ending objectively, it feels very elongated. It's too long. I felt it was too long. But then because the whole middle part of the movie has nothing, the ending feels like it's just okay. Just give me all of it, right? Just give me all of it as long as you can. Just give me all of it. So yeah, I didn't mind the ending at all, even though I felt it was.
I think the reason why maybe you felt it was long, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is because it's really just two people looking at each other, like staring very hard at each other, and then like blood is coming out, and then one fella catches fire. But even when they catch fire, like, he doesn't really do anything. He's like, "Oh, okay, I'm here.
I'm on fire.
Yeah, I'm on fire." And like, nothing phases the guy. Like his voice never goes above like a 6 throughout the whole film. It's I really am very curious to see what other films Stephen Lack has been in. Because it's so yeah. It looks like he didn't do a lot of other films. Yeah, after Scanners he did like 4 more.
Dead Ringers.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Never
That's
heard
it.
of any.
Nothing. I mean, these are really old films.
Well, he was a former actor and screenwriter, so maybe I don't know if he wrote that script as well. I'm saying, Steven, like this is all on you, man.
It's really
This is
lacking.
all. Yeah.
Okay, maybe we can give scanners our scores. So maybe Caleb, you can go first.
I mean, everything have been said, right? It's not enough body horror. The plot is it's alright. It's decent. It's not bad. It's just why. Right? Yeah. I think I would just give it like a 5.
A 5?
A decent score.
A decent score.
50%.
Right.
I can see the effort.
Right.
But yeah, I guess the execution is lacking.
I'd probably give it a 6. The ending would be a plus point. Like it for me, the ending saved the whole movie. Right. So it's just the whole time I'm watching this movie, it was just like, where is this going? There's a cult, and then there's this weird artist, and then come on, do some body horror, Cronenberg. So in the end, it's just one drawn out sequence of reverse shot of two persons staring at each other, and then they started exploding, and then they started tearing their skin off. I'm like, yes, and then it's just over. I'm like, oh man. So yeah, so it's lacking. I felt there was a lot of missed opportunities, but it's a 1980s movie, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah, they can't all be the thing, right?
No, sadly, no. There's only one the thing.
I've seen too many crazy stuff.
I think I'd give it a 6 as well. I share the same sentiments with Joe, where I like the ending. I think the plot was easy to understand. It's just too much details that weren't necessary. I would prefer if they were to dwell on the fact that, like Paul, that Dr. Ruth was their dad, and then like what happened in between, what happened in the past, because like Dr. Ruth also mumbled something about the past, right? Throughout. I think before he died, he actually mumbled something. So I would rather them focus on that rather than just putting a lot of irrelevant plot points that are not even memorable. But overall, it was quite entertaining. I would watch it. I wouldn't watch it as like I wouldn't even call it a sci-fi horror. I would call it I don't know, like a thriller or a comedy thriller. I don't know. I find it really funny. I would watch it with friends to like laugh at it. So yeah, for the entertainment factor, I would give it a 6. But yeah, it's overall okay. But could do some improvement.
Yeah, I mean, I feel okay. We have been pretty mean to the film throughout.
Sorry,
we
Mr.
have laughed.
Cronenberg.
We have laughed a lot at it. And the thing about it, I think for maybe a few of us, except for maybe Lynn, because Lynn doesn't have any reference point for Cronenberg, is that when you go in and you watch a Cronenberg, you know that you're watching a Cronenberg film. You are thinking, oh, I'm going to be getting lots of body horror. And the thing is, I think Lynn is absolutely correct, right? I would be very hesitant to even call this horror, because there are sequences of body horror, but it's not really horror, right? Everything in between is really straight up action, 1980s action.
Yeah.
So and the stuff in between I felt was actually pretty boring. I didn't care for a lot of it. I could see what he was going for. I think the premise of it is interesting. But then the execution of it was like, okay, you have this really cool premise, but then it devolves into just a action film, and there's nothing wrong with action films with this kind of premise. But like Terminator 2, for example, isn't the most complex premise in the world, but does a lot of things. And I know it is not fair comparing Terminator 2 with Scanners, because Terminator 2 at the time that it was made is probably like the most expensive film ever made.
Like compare it to Star Wars.
But basically going to it, I had an idea. I thought this is what I was going to get. I think like Caleb has mentioned, and then I didn't get what I thought I was going to get. So at the end of the day, if you knew what you were getting into, you adjust your expectations, maybe you might have a good time. But I mean, for me, it really is maybe like a 5 out of 10. I probably wouldn't watch it again. No, it's not the same like The Fly, for example, which I would definitely watch again, because of just how gruesome and how over the top it is. And I think that is my biggest knock against the film. If you are going to do something like this, like, you should just go all in, man. Go all in. It felt like you weren't doing that. So
Like,
yeah.
budget.
5 out of 10.
Right. So, any recommendation?
Yeah, like I said, now watch The Fly. I mean, if you want to watch a Cronenberg film, watch The Fly. It's just superior on so many levels. I think the acting, for example, right? You look at just Jeff Goldblum, and then you look at all the special effects. It's so creepy, and it's like it's sustained, right? I think the thing with this film was that you got one head exploding scene, and then nothing. Unless you rewind it and watch it over and over again, which if you are doing, maybe you might need help, lah. But then but like The Fly,
Just go look at the GIF, right?
yeah. It's like a watermelon exploding. but it's like, but it's like The Fly is, you can see him. I mean, I don't want to give it away, but I mean, the title is The Fly. It's a guy becoming a fly, and you see the guy becoming a fly over the course of
It
an
ramps
hour and
up.
a half. Yeah, it is so good. If you want to watch body horror, I would strongly recommend. Yeah, go watch The Fly.
Right. So the other one I would recommend is Possessor, David Cronenberg's son. It's pretty good actually. It's about people killing people in their heads.
In their heads.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, but I wouldn't want to spoil too much. But if you want,
But it's not really horror, right?
it's psychological horror actually.
Oh, okay.
It's also sci-fi.
It's sci-fi and it's psychological horror.
Yeah.
So
Can you see any connection between that and Possessor and Scanners?
except when they use their head to kill people. Right? But you really do get the body horror with Possessor, and
That one's more realistic.
it's very realistic. I don't know if Lin would enjoy that, but I think Lin would definitely enjoy The Fly.
We are going to find out next week, Lin, when we watch Possessor.
Yeah.
Might choose one of those movies then.
Yeah, so Possessor is like one of the ones that came out recently, and I would recommend you to watch it if you somehow did enjoy Scanners, right?
or even if you didn't, right? So if you want to have this because you seem to think that it's really good too, right?
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
I think Lin would like it because it's psychological.
Yeah, it's psychological too. So there's another aspect of it which I won't spoil. You can watch it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
For our next episode.
Yep. So the next episode I will choose since Lin doesn't want to choose, and Josh have no idea yet. It's going to be a Canadian sci-fi horror film called Come True. So this one just released in March of 2021.
If we release in August 2021, we are in
August
we are
2020.
in a call situation.
it premiered in August 2020 in a film festival, and it was released in March 2021 on Shudder. Yeah. So it's about a teenage runway who takes part in a sleep study, and from what I can gather with the trailers, none of us has seen it before, right? So from what I can gather from the trailers is they are messing with sleep paralysis, and somehow stuff from people's nightmares comes out of the sleep, I guess. So
It sounds like the Russian sleep experiment thing from
Russian sleep.
from No Sleep.
yeah, so there's like experiments, and then there's like scientists messing with demons and sleep experiments. So yeah, sounds like fun. And
Sure. If you are
sounds
not
like
part of the experiments, I suppose it's fun.
not part of the
Sounds
experiment. Sounds fun to watch.
Fun to be the scientist in the situation.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to watching it and that. So if you guys want to hear us talk about Come True, do join us next episode of Incantation. Wherever you are hearing this from, like, subscribe, give us a comment, share this to your friends, and help us grow our channel. Goodbye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.